Bank and helped us develop the Works program, is a member of Cool Springs, and she was on the ground floor for a while, seeing the different pieces of Caritas and getting to know the guys from the Healing Place, and obviously involved in Works. And one of our unique challenges with Caritas is that we don't have relationships with a lot of the Baptist congregations like we have with Cool Spring. We have a lot of very large Baptist congregations that don't do Caritas. So we thought this was a really unique opportunity to understand a little bit more, and what we've learned is a lot in the Baptist congregations, a lot of the ministry and the mission type work is done through Sunday schools classes. And so this has been an interesting learning experience for us as well. And we had actually heard that from one of the owners of the bus company that provides our transportation, is a member of Grove Avenue Baptist. It has nothing to do with Caritas. It's a huge Baptist church. But he said a number of times, if we could figure out a way to, infiltrate the Sunday school classes, then we will have an opportunity.
There's
to
a certain amount of that
that
is true, and a little bit of it is not, in that the mission organizations of Baptist churches are sometimes almost a different entity from the rest of the life of the church. It has its own leadership, and with the change of times and what's going on in Baptist life, if you will, we're moving it more towards the Sunday school, so that our education program of the church is also our missional organizations of the church. So we're getting the classes more involved. So our classes are responsible for providing the meals at night when we do that. We have different groups within the organization that do the laundry, or different groups that our prayer ministry is pulled into Caritas. So we're pulling different ministries into that one event, and now we're trying to figure out how we can do it year-round and not just 1 week of the year.
And I would just like to add that in our community, there's a lot of kudos to Caritas for it being congregations, because it makes it really welcoming to non-Christian religions and different minority groups. And I think it's really powerful that sometimes as a majority you might not be aware of, but as a minority it's a huge and powerful statement that makes it very welcoming for us.
Do you all think that your churches, congregations know all of the different aspects of Caritas, or do they just think about it as shelter? I'm guessing more the latter, but is that true or not true?
I think to a certain extent that's true, that they basically think about the shelter. That these are clients, these are people who come and go to different churches each week. And then not considering the fact that there are some other things that are involved.
Furniture Bank and the the Healing Place and Works and
right. Because my eyes have been open to some of the things that we could possibly do, other than just providing shelter for 1 week. Because I say every year we do it 1 week, and yes, we do have the congregation involved, and that's great. But then there are the other 51 weeks of the year. What do we do?
is that a welcome thing to learn it and get educated and think about doing more?
Right, to think about even more how we can be involved.
I think most people in the congregation know what they see.
Yeah.
And so, they see the folks spending the week, or they see the folks coming in for intake, and so that's what they think Caritas is. And there's a fairly large group that knows a lot of other things in Caritas, but it's so much smaller.
Right.
I'd say in our congregation they know a lot about the furniture bank, because of April, May, we do volunteer day, and then we've done St. James's where we posted a pod, or things of that nature. So I think for our congregants, Caritas deals with homelessness. I wouldn't even say they know that it works. It goes to different churches each week. It's just Caritas deals with homeless. It's the Richmond congregations working together to help with the homeless situation.
Yeah. We have a group out of our church that is into housing and financial literacy. And that particular group goes to the different sites each week, and they provide classes on financial literacy.
Nice.
And
that's a good ministry.
right, and so, but it's only handful of people. It's not really many of the congregational members who know.
You know, from time to time, I've observed, and this has been a little bit in the signs out in front of churches that say, you know, Caritas Week is coming up or something like that. The good news is that congregations have so kind of integrated Caritas that it almost is as if the brand is part of the congregation, and this is a ministry that we have called Caritas. It could be like second grade Sunday school. It's so much part of the fabric of many congregations. The bad news for us is that, of course, there's a lot of other aspects to Caritas that without some kind of awareness of Caritas that is actually an organization that has headquarters and it has a board and has, you know, all the things that you might imagine that we do with. So I'm kind of curious about the advice you would give us, both from your particular experience and then thinking kind of broadly about across different kinds of congregations of what we might do that would help congregations to think both in terms of their individual ministry, but also that this organization does actually sit and have offices and pay bills and try to think forward into the future, because it's be very important for us to expand that awareness for all the reasons you might imagine.
I think what could be helpful is if there was like a 5-year strategic plan that we were all supporting. So I don't think it's very exciting to think about like bill paying and boards and leadership. I don't think that grabs anybody's attention. But if it's a feeling of we're part of something bigger, and yes, we have this ownership in this area, but together we're creating something that's beyond just stable, but it's going to make a huge impact.
Interesting, we just finished a 3-year strategic plan. We'll get that to you.
It sounds like you want it to be measurable, you want to see some change, some impact that your congregations have on this issue.
Right, we were involved at one time with RISC, which is community organizing, and I think some of those layers to it that, and I think I said it earlier, but right, that you in a way are the shepherds, that you're the specialists when it comes to this issue, and how can we work supporting you to use our resources and our power to achieve great things.
I think Caritas is a very strong, think about marketing terms, a very strong brand name. And so I think it catches people know Caritas, at least they know their slice of Caritas, but they pay attention when they hear about it. So I think you've got a good end to communicate, at least within my congregation, to bigger things, broader things, different things that Caritas may want to do. There's no getting over the hump of what is Caritas. You know, it's just getting over the hump of this is Caritas, and did you know that this is Caritas as well? You know, maybe there's already one out there. Is there a video out there?
Video?
Yeah.
Funny you should ask. We're filming tomorrow.
Filming tomorrow.
7 a.m. We've been in movement for the last 7 years with the different programs that we've been adding. So now we're not in growth mode, we're in stabilization mode. So the timing is right to be able to tell our story.
Video, so
Yeah. Actually, the same videographer is going to be working with a different company, but yeah, that's what we're doing tomorrow. So we hope to have it, finished post-production end of December, beginning of January. And that will be blasted out there.
I think that'd be really helpful.
Be about 3 to 5 minutes.
That took some time before I came because I wasn't real familiar with the Healing Place. And I went on to that part of the website and watched a few of the videos there, and I go, wow. I immediately sent the information about addiction to somebody in the church that was dealing with it in the family, so you need to watch these because it's brand new to them. You know, and it's really good stuff.
Best kept secret, we're actually.
Oh, it's absolutely. I was impressed. But I think you do. Caritas has a great brand, but I think it's branded as being the shelter program. And now you've got to overcome your great brand with the shelter program. That there is more to Caritas, and how do you get churches involved in that? And there are ways, and I don't know how to communicate it, or how you can develop it, or how we can do it together, but is getting younger generations involved now, because they're so proactive that they're more aware of it, so that they'll grow with it and change with it. One of our ministers does the 5th grade vacation Bible school class every year, because he's going to receive them from elementary into middle school. And so he did a furniture build as part of his vacation Bible school class. And so he had them as their project for the week, that they were going to build furniture, and so they had to learn about Caritas and learn about homelessness as part of that project. So that was just a little thing that can be done within the local church. You could put, whether they invest the money in the kid and get the kids and do it. So it's like getting our children to do placemats and colored placemats for the homeless when they eat dinner when we have the week. So, we had families, they would decorate the room, they would just plaster the rooms with welcome, glad you're here, and blah, blah, blah. So that they begin to feel, and they know the brand, they know what Caritas is as far as the word, eventually they may get involved in it. So what are some ways? How can you communicate that to the churches? Here are ways that you can do something more than just host the week. Because some churches can't do that. And another potential that I was thinking about just a moment ago is there are sometimes networks of churches that are near each other that support and help each other. There may be a way to pull those churches together to share ideas. Sometimes our church, because we have showers, occasionally one of the local churches that doesn't have showers comes and uses our showers when they're hosting, so they don't have to go so far to get showers. There are things like that that can be done, and maybe collaborate in, here's what we're doing, what are you doing, and that type of thing.
We have done some of that with a neighboring church, that this church has come in and they have provided things like the breakfast and the lunches during the week. They have not come in as such and provided dinner, but they have done that. And I'm quite certain they may be looking for some other opportunities. We also have a group in our church called the Afghan Ministry. And one of the projects that ministry does each year is to crochet scarves for the clients of Caritas. And on Friday evening, the last evening, they always come in and present them to the clients.
Let's do stuff like that, just the things.
Do you all work with any of the colleges and universities? Because like my spouse is part of the chaplaincy staff at the University of Richmond, and I think if you want to reach out, working with the religious student organizations at BCU and U of R, I think it's a great opportunity, because especially a lot of the students that are doing service learning and things of that. And what I am hearing, as only living in Richmond 3.5 years, I think people know Caritas, but it sounds like you need a one-sentence tagline, more than what,
We've got that now.
right, so that things sync with it, more than just what it's an acronym for.
Well, we actually don't even use the acronym anymore. And the
Right.
reason we don't is because we're not shelter. We're not a shelter. So we just use the Caritas, but it's funny, just for my longevity with the organization. I've been here now 13 years, and there's this significant delay in the messaging. It's funny because, up until even 2-3 years ago, people, oh, you're year round? And it's like, wow, it's just that, it takes this long period of time, because we have about 15,000 congregational volunteers. So if you look at that, you get these little windows of people that see that week of shelter, or that are involved in furniture drive, or that, do something else with us. And it's interesting, the delay in trying to get the message. That's why we're so excited about this video, to be able to say, this Caritas is about transforming lives and restoring dignity. And that's what we do in these different ways. So.
I think one of you're talking about the healing place being